Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell. Welcome to a new video. Welcome to my shopping center in the region where I live in Moscow. And I'm going to take you for a walk around Globus Hypermarket. It's right behind me. It's one of the most popular videos on my channel in the past. I thought I'd go walk around today, see what's changed, see what it's like inside, see if we can find any bargains. If you might be watching the channel for the first time, I do lots of videos at supermarkets, shopping centers, anywhere really, but one of the most popular videos on this channel is the walk around I did at Globus right here. And this is the particular one that's the nearest to where I live in Moscow region. We're actually at a shopping center called Solaris Shopping Center, and it's connected underground by the red metro line Salarevo. And you can see here all the checkouts and how far it goes down. So there's a combination of the registers with the ladies. They get nice comfy seats to sit down on. And then there's the self-checkout at either end of the entrances. And we're gonna walk in a little bit further down and we're gonna go and check it out, what it's like inside. You'll see here the ladies get a nice comfy seat and they can enjoy their afternoon of scanning and making all of the shoppers happy. Now this is Friday afternoon. It's 5:30 p.m. So hopefully there'll be some shoppers here in the shopping center. I think even just walking down here for the first time, it's nice and busy. And a lot of people are just slowly finishing the work week here in Moscow. Of course, going into the weekend tomorrow. There is a couple of unique things about this supermarket. Perhaps it's similar to where you live in the world. There is actually a ice cream lady here. So if you want to get yourself a ice cream with the toppings, you can. She also serves tea and coffee as well. This is a takeaway place, basically. And if you just want to grab something. Now this is somewhere where I go quite often on this side. And actually have a look at the line right now. This is a small cafeteria that they've got that mostly serves quick takeaway food. And then you can also get different types of meats, hams and sausages. And it's a little bit awkward to see everything. Let's see if we can sneak in between here and check out all the sausages. And a lot of people buy this for takeaway who maybe don't want to go inside the shopping center or the supermarket to get something. And they make hot dogs or hamburgers as well. And it's really very, very nice. And it's not very expensive. Let me see if I can find the one that I normally get, if they've got it advertised. There's some more of the hams over here. Yeah, they've got this burger right here, which is only 80 rubles. Actually, there's some examples of them right in front of me. I didn't even notice them right there. Walking on inside, they've got the garland up for the holidays, and they're starting to put all of the Christmas and New Year products out now. Slowly, slowly. Depending on the different supermarket you come to, some of them are all ready for the holidays, some aren't. As I first walk in, there's also some weekly specials here. It's a little bit of a mix of things. There's some mince, there's some sausage, coffee, and then we've got to have Russian vodka and the famous Beluga vodka right there. Maybe you need some flowers. It's really always quite a mix of things in the entrance when you come in. There is actually a small flower market as well in the entrance. And it's not really overly popular, this, but it's always right here at the entrance and exit. Now, I will walk around as much as I can in the video. There is quite a mix of things. I really want to focus mostly on the food and lots of the fresh food. There is also on this right-hand side all of the non-food items. So there's a lot of small electrical appliances. There's some things for your phone here. Also batteries, light bulbs, all sorts of things. And if you maybe want to get yourself a new kettle, there's a kettle as well. Actually, there's a lot of kettles. There's a whole row of them. How many kettles does one person need? Perhaps there's different features to them other than boiling. The main brand that they promote at the front here is called Polaris. Perhaps there's some brand agreement they've got. Also, there's Krups, which I've not really heard of too much, but I think most people know Tifal, and then there's Mulimix as well. You can even buy yourself a hairdryer in here. Never really walked down this aisle until seeing the full selection. I'm always walking in and going straight to the food area of this store. This left-hand side, as you come in, has a lot of different seasonal items. And if you come here often, or at least once a month, this will change. Right now they've got all of the heavy coats, the winter shoes, gloves, and they'll change that seasonally depending on the weather outside. But now it's getting down to minus degrees. Everybody suddenly needs a new pair of gloves, maybe a new jacket. We've always got them at home, but then we might want a new one. Now, what I'm planning to do in another video, I'm going to come and do a walk around of the Christmas section, and there's quite a lot of stuff here. Now, excuse me for the flashing lights. They always do that with these fairy lights in the stores. So I'm going to leave this for a separate video, but they've got all of the Christmas stuff set out. What I'm planning to do is go to a couple of different stores and combine it into one video so that we can get a nice overview of the Russian Christmas section in the supermarkets. You've also got things for the car here, and the antifreeze, which is a must in every car in Russia as the temperatures get a little bit colder. And all of the basic things for your car. A lot of people wouldn't necessarily buy them in this shop, and they'd go to a specific car accessory store. But if you're in a supermarket, why not grab something? These are the very popular scrapers and brushes to get all the snow off your car, and then all the ice off your window as well. Let's keep walking around. And then in front of me here is the other seasonal area, which they've got set up for the holidays here. Have a look at this giant display of Ferrero Rocher. Wow. Imagine getting locked in the store. What would you eat first? I think I'd come straight for the chocolate section. And they've got all the different gift items here ahead of the holidays. So if you want to shop in November for holiday gifts for people, you can do that. Different tea and coffee gift sets. And then more alcohol. And what they've done is they've actually maxed out. We'll see how much alcohol and drinks they've got here in the store in a second. Going back more than a year ago, there was a lot of talk about empty shops and empty supermarkets, and there won't be products available in Russia. This is one of the aisles of the pet food, and all of the different biscuits for the dogs right here. There's the whole aisle on this side. Then on the next aisle, it's cat food heaven. And have a look at how much choices the cats have got in Russia. They've got an entire aisle of food that the cats can enjoy. And they've got every possible brand available and every possible flavor of cat food. The one thing that I've mentioned in other videos, and perhaps you're watching and can let me know where you live, there is a very tiny amount of canned pet food in Russia, and all of it is in these sachets or Ziploc bags. And there is the tiniest section of canned pet food over here. Very, very tiny. And let me know where you live if you've got a cat or dog. Do you buy canned pet food, or do you buy it in these little single serving versions? I'm curious what everybody's answer is about that. On the right hand side here is all of the regular alcohol, and this is the year-round section, whereas the champagnes, wines, and then spirits. The front here, there's a little bit of a mix. Mostly all the things that are on special tend to be on this front display. And then over here, all of the hard alcohol, or strong alcohol, they like to call it in Russia. I'm not sure where the word strong alcohol comes from. There's actually a few people in the aisle here having a look for things. And the one thing that's interesting is finding all of the Western brands that, you know, said that they've left Russia and are no longer available. Keep in mind, we're almost at a 2-year time frame of when companies announced that they were leaving Russia. And you can walk in the store here. You see Johnny Walker. There's Macallan Single Malt. And then other brands here, Balvenie. And then, of course, all of the whiskies we know very well, Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. And there isn't just one brand of Jim Beam here. There's every version of it. And all of the other spirits, tequilas, gin, and something that's been brought up a lot on different videos and social media is that you can't get Baileys in Russia. And it's clearly on the shelf. There's a full box right there, and definitely available. I'm trying to see if there's even an off-brand version, and I don't see it on the shelf. And Aperol announced a while ago that they were leaving, and they're all on the shelf and more than available. Of course, there's a few gaps, but that's going to happen in any supermarket that you go to. And then the wine section just wraps all the way around this side right in front of me here. It's probably hard to give a good representation of how many choices of wine they've got in this store. The fun thing is at the top here, they've got different flags from different countries. And of course, I have to show the Australian flag. And over there's New Zealand. And they've got Australian wine right here. And about $9 US for a bottle. Classic bottle of Australian wine. And then there's wine from all the different countries. And then over here, there's a mix of different Russian wines. And somewhere there's probably Georgian wines as well, which are also very well known in Russia. And you'll see there's an aisle here of champagnes and lots of choices. And then all the different Italian wines. They have their own mini aisle. David, if you're watching, I'm not going to point out the brands particularly, but you'll see plenty of choice of Italian wines and not overly expensive. You know, there's a lot of choices. There's one here, $60 a bottle. And there's more than enough to choose from. Over on the other side, they've got all of the holiday packaging. So they've got all the fun boxes where they've got the alcohol in and perhaps glasses or some sort of gift that combines together with the bottle. There's a vodka here that comes with the sodas, and nice easy presents for everybody. I actually got my wife the Aperol one last year. We've got the glasses collecting in the cupboard, and then you'll see here where they've put even more alcohol mixed in with Old Spice. And this is another area that's seasonal, so they'll change this every month depending on what's happening. And of course, November, December is the holiday times, so there's more and more alcohol on display. And have a look. Dewar's right here. Dewar's is actually owned by Bacardi, and they announced a long time ago they weren't doing business in Russia. And there's a very nice Dewar's stand with all of their choices on it. And then I'm over here, more champagnes, and maybe not exactly champagne, but $3 or $4 a bottle. It's more than drinkable. And you can see now the amount of people in the store coming and going. Where we've walked in was one entrance. There's another entrance on the far side of the store as well, which I'll eventually get around to. as we walk on a little bit further. Of course, I've talked a lot about Coca-Cola, and I won't go on about it too much more. This particular hypermarket has it on display right here at the end of the drink aisles. And then there's a lot of other choices of different drinks. If you really don't want classic Coca-Cola, from Belarus there's Bela Cola. And then if you want the Russian classic cola here, this is Chernogolovka, which is probably the most famous cola brand or drink brand in Russia. All of the potato chips. And then there's an aisle of different types of juices. If you're wondering how I know my way around this store, this is my local supermarket that I would come to perhaps every 2 or 3 days. It's the one that's the nearest metro station, the nearest bus station to where I live, so that's why I know the layout of this place. I could perhaps do the video with my eyes closed because it's so local to me, and this is my typical supermarket here in Russia. I have an older video on the channel about 10 reasons Russian supermarkets are different, and one of the main differences in that video of the 10 is beer on tap, and they actually tap their own beer right here. Now they actually have somebody doing it, so he bottles up all the beers, he puts the labels on, he's putting on the best before dates on the stickers right there, and then you can buy tap beer in plastic containers like you see, take it home, drink it tonight, and you've got as good as tap beer to drink if you don't want to buy bottled or canned beers. And this is quite a unique thing. I wonder if in other parts of Europe, if you're watching, do they have that? I've never seen it before in Australia, that's for certain. And then we'll come around here now towards the beer section. There's a small aisle here with energy drinks and some potato chips. Pringles are still here. And then the beer section. I always love Russian supermarkets for the way that they cross-promote other products. So they've got all the beer snacks here and chips and dried fish. So if you want something to accompany your beer, you've got snacks that you can choose right there. So there's the aisle here with the beers on either side, on the left and right. And then the other beers keep going here. Corona beer here from Mexico, a whole section of it. This is actually a lot of the foreign beers. Peroni and Moretti there, the Italian beers. And then other countries represented on this side. And they've also got, over on the left here, some flavored beers or ciders. I'm not sure how to best describe them. And there's a lot of versions of these. You'll see here, toffee apple cider, marshmallow cider. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of choices. On the left-hand side here is all of the different things for your house. So the aisle of toilet roll and the abundance of choices of toilet roll. For me, when I come shopping, I find the one on special. Normally I stick to the same brand, but whatever's the promotional version of that. And there's the aisle with all of the cleaning items. And then it keeps going 3 more aisles over, all the cleaning things. And then you come to a lot of the in-house products here. So they actually have their own bakery, and they've got a very nice glass refrigerator here with cakes. And then you've got a lot of choices of breads. So these packaged breads here will be made off-site and brought to the store. And we'll see in a second the bakery breads. You can actually almost catch the cake ladies doing their stuff in the back here. And we can't quite see them doing the cakes, but it's pretty cool that they make them fresh right in the store, and then they get put right out for service here. And we'll see all the pastries. This is probably a reasonable angle to see the bread. You'll see the gentleman here packaging up the loaves that'll go out for sale. And you can buy pastries in this glass case. And the rest of the breads are in front of me here. Lots of people waiting for the lady to get some cakes. A lot of people like the Globus brand, especially the fact that everything's made in-house. So you'll see at the back the breads. And then this place is 24/7, so they never stop making bread. And if they do, this first little bay here will be empty in minutes, because this is the stuff they're baking and putting out as quick as they can make it. I've noticed too, when I've come the last couple of times, they put a couple of tables and chairs here and then try and encourage people to buy a pastry or a cake and sit down and eat it in the store, rather than buying it and taking away. You can see more of the baked breads. There is a lot of choices. So all the ones on this section will be baked here in the shop, different times during the day. The classic one here runs 20 rubles or 20 cents. And then if you want the bigger one, it's 30 cents. So you don't have to spend a lot. This is how bread becomes very cheap in Russia in supermarkets, because they're baking it in store. Now we're running into a little bit of traffic and everybody running around and trying to get their Friday afternoon shopping done. A lot of people will just be finishing work and come shopping now for the weekend. Perhaps they don't want a brave coming on Saturday and Sunday here. And over on the right, there's the big mixers for the breads. And we come around now to the enormous refrigerated section, or deli. And then there's a cheese section on the left, and lots of different cheeses. And then have a look on the right here. This is cheese heaven. And there's not too many people looking at the cheese fridge, but I can assure you there's a lot of people in the supermarket as I'm walking around. It's not quiet. A lot of people have told me I'm filming in the morning on a Monday, so I thought I'd come Friday afternoon to really give a good idea of the amount of people in here and the amount of shoppers, and I hope it shows. Over here is different butters, and I've shown this before, the very famous white Harry's American sandwich bread. They've actually sold 2 of them. And what do you prefer? 110 ruble bread or fresh bread for 20 or 30 rubles? You need to tell me. I know what I'd like. I don't want that white bread right there. So there's these ladies here that do all the preparing. So what they're generally doing is getting the bigger cheese blocks and then weighing them out to more manageable sizes. And if perhaps you want something bigger, they'll cut and weigh it for you. And over here is more cheese. And then we get eventually to the salamis and hams and some bacons as well. And all the different packaged versions of the sausages. Perhaps you know the famous winter salad or Olivia salad. You need the sausage meats for that. And then some of the processed hams here also. I am trying to do this in as fewer cuts as possible so that you get a bit of an idea of how many people are in the store and just the feeling of it as I'm walking around. So unfortunately, sometimes I bump into people who recognize me, or somebody doesn't like me filming a certain little part, so I've got to stop for a minute. But I hope the video as it's coming out is coming out good. If my mum eventually makes it to Moscow, this would be her dream section. I can just leave her here for the afternoon in the salami section, and she can choose until her heart's content. There is so many different choices. Again, there's the ladies back there that can weigh out something of a different size for you if you don't want what's already prepared. There's a lot of choices. They also do fresh sushi in the store, and being that it's Friday evening, they're actually on duty. So the sushi that you see here is all made right in the back, and these guys do all that for everybody. And then let's make our way around There's more hams. Then we come towards the meat section, fish section, and eventually the fruit and veg. Now I've got a wider angle lens on this camera, and I always think it doesn't feel as busy as it really is when you're walking around. And there's not as many people in the video, but I can assure you it's busy in here. If you're wanting a bit of a Russian delicacy here, the different smoked fish. These are very nice. Have it with a little bit of beer. Maybe sit down with some friends and enjoy. These freezers in front of me here are different frozen fish. Now they don't have lots of it, but it's an option to get fish cheaper than buying it fresh. If you want to get something, perhaps that you want to use fish to make some sort of a soup, it's a good choice to buy it that way. I think from just seeing how many people are waiting for the fishmongers to get them their fresh fish and the smoked fish and different cured fishes, how popular it is in Russia. Not just in this store, in any supermarket that you go to. And we come over here to more filleted fish. And again, they've got the fish mongers in the back there. A lot of this maybe you've done at different times. They're bringing out some more. Maybe you can get the shrimps as well. And hopefully we can show the fish tanks with the Moskovskiy. If you don't want to go to a paid aquarium in Moscow, you can come here to the Moskovskiy and see all of the fish. Unfortunately, your fate will be sealed at some point. They're all looking out and saying hello to everybody. Lots of very nice salmon in the store here. My wife loves to come and buy this and have some fresh grilled salmon for lunch from time to time. And then we get to the butcher's shop and all of the different packaged meats and beef and pork. And then there's actually a line for the butchers. So a lot of people want meats for the weekend. Maybe some people are going to the dacha, even though it's cold weather now, maybe the last few days of non-snow in Moscow is coming. We'll see all the different prepared meats and all the butchers running around helping everybody. And have a look at the line. Everybody's ready for shashlik on the weekend. I need to hopefully get an invite from somebody to go for a shashlik. And there's some other meats here. And then there's another deli where they have just the sausages. So at the beginning of the video, I showed it outside in the walkway where you can buy these sausages. So if you don't want to come inside the supermarket, you can buy them outside. Perhaps if you come in, you'll end up shopping for more things. But you'll see here the sausage meats. Lots of nice choices all the way down. And this is very similar to what we saw outside, but a bigger selection. Watching the video, you can take it a couple of different ways. You can embrace, the enormity of supermarkets in Moscow and these hypermarkets, as they like to be called, and supermarket videos in general that are on the channel. Or perhaps you're watching and comparing it to where you live, and do you have more choices or less choices in the local supermarket? I'm not necessarily making a video here about the pricing. I've done those before. But I just really want to show the amount of people that come to this shopping center and then to this particular store to do shopping. And hopefully it feels like there's a lot of people here. I think for sure for Friday afternoon. I know once I've wrapped up the video and go to catch my bus home, I'll be right in the rush hour for people finishing work and then catching buses and trains to leave from this particular shopping center. And the guy there filling up all the potatoes, all the different choices. And all the classic Russian fruits and vegetables. Never-ending choice of tomatoes and cucumbers. There's always a plate of it on most Russian kitchen tables and dinner tables. Some kind of a fresh vegetable or a salad, if you like. And then we'll come over here to the front of the fruit and vegetable area. Right now they've got persimmons. These are very popular. A lot of the fruit and vegetables you see at the front of the store tend to be what's the current seasonal item. And of course, where it might be local or comes from one of the nearby CIS countries, then it'll be a lot cheaper if it's available seasonally, rather than you wanting a mango in Russia or a pineapple out of season. And this is one of my little favorite spots to come and get some of the chickens. And I'm going to show you chickens, and there's none here. This is where the roast chickens are, one of my favorite things in the store. I wonder, they've got them cooking at the back there. And this is where there is a lot of the prepared food that you can get. So if you want salads or other cooked foods, there's different types of rice dishes. And you just literally take them home, heat them up, and dinner is ready. And a lot of times I would come and buy a whole chicken right there, and that's easy dinner. Salad, some nice chicken leg. Well, you can't beat it. And I can't show you one. Here we are with the flashing lights again. Oh my gosh, these fairy lights are gonna slowly be everywhere in Moscow in the coming weeks. This is the main seasonal item now. Coming into December is mandarins, or we like to call them Christmas oranges here in Moscow. You'll see here you can either get them in a bag by weight, or you can pick them out here. You even get the leaves as well. It adds to the look of them. So, and someone's even peeled one so you can taste it as well. And there's also persimmons on the other side there. And this is definitely what's the seasonal fruit right now in Russia. They have extra seasonal items in the front here. Lots of pay-by-weight candy. And there's even some baking things off in the distance. Let's have a look. Also here at the small frozen section. It's just 2 aisles of fridges. And actually this entire side where I'm standing is all ice creams the whole way down. And then there's a bit of a mix of things on the other aisle across the way there. When I come into Globus, I normally walk in from this side. So you walk straight into the fruit and veg section, and then it wraps around to all the meats where we've walked earlier. And this is the normal crowd of people that you come across in the fruit and veg area when you walk in. This video I walked in from the opposite side, which is a little bit quieter because all of the non-food items. Hopefully we can feel like it's nice and busy. They're never ending refilling the aisle and putting stuff out. You can imagine with the amount of people that come through here on a daily basis, if they just miss a few refills, the place will be empty. This next area I'm going to show you is where a lot of the different health foods are. And then there's all the choices of nuts and lots of choices as well. There is literally every possible type of nut or dried fruit that you can ever want in this store. And the choices, for me, I would say they're endless. I'm sure someone else where you live in the world has a bigger shop than this with more choices, and this isn't a lot of things. I think this is more than suitable for me when I come shopping. And it's more than enough things in the store. I like how they've got these decorations on the roof in the healthy area of the supermarket. Not so many people in the aisle here looking for things, but they're definitely available. And then we come over here to the milks. There's some other butter over there as well. And then all the bottled milk or fresh milk. And then I think over here is some of the different long life milks, or perhaps flavored milks. Maybe you want banana flavor. Lots of different choices. I know I'm saying that a lot, but this particular supermarket is so big that they're able to max out the display of everything and, you know, put a lot of choices out because of the size of the store. You can see flour right there. And then there's the probably more traditional grocery items in these few aisles. Things like pastas, sauces. And then there's a lot of the different ingredients for baking. Even there's the oils right here in front of me. Pastaroni, traditional Italiana pasta. I wonder how traditional it is. It's actually made in Russia. So perhaps there's an Italian guy who works at the factory and puts his name on the side of the box. There's two different dairy aisles. Here one has got yogurts and different drinkable yogurts. And there's some different types of cheeses and mayonnaise. And then around the corner is more yogurt. If you didn't get enough already, there's the other aisle of them here. There's some refrigerated mayonnaise at the end. Quite a lot of the ones on special at the end here. And then this whole aisle is different versions of yogurts. And I don't know how my wife comes shopping in this aisle because she loves yogurt, but how she can choose with so many choices. I'm not a big yogurt eater, but I can come and grab the one I want and walk out fairly quickly. But there's a lot of people always looking through them, and maybe there's something new and different. I'm not sure. I have a bit of a feeling this video might run a little bit long because I'm not doing too many edits. And I've walked around for a fair while. I really hope this is enjoyable as a video. It gives you a bit of an understanding of Russian supermarkets. And this is called a hypermarket. But, you know, if you come in here just for the food and groceries and then don't go to the other end, then you're not really feeling that hypermarket side of the store. We come to another Russian favorite aisle with different mayonnaise and different flavors of mayonnaise. And if you thought where you live, 2 or 3 different types, there's a few. You've got this whole left-hand side here with as many choices as you like, all the way down. And eventually we get to the egg section. So there's the ones that are outside of the fridge on the right, and then there's refrigerated ones on the left, and lots of choices. Actually, the ones on this side tend to be the bigger packaging, so the ones that have got 20 or 30 in a box. And over here, the normal 10 box of eggs, and lots of choices as well, just in the eggs. This is the biscuit aisle, and all of the tea biscuits. That's what I like to call them. And there's lots of choices of them. Always when you go to somebody's house in Russia, there'll be a plate that'll come out right onto the kitchen table with different biscuits to have with your tea and coffee. And there's more than enough to choose from as you walk around. Different flavors, different tastes. And then the snack section continues. It actually wraps around the next 3 aisles, I think. Over here, there's some of the sweet candies on this aisle. The pay-by-weight ones at the end. And there should be another aisle with all the pay-by-weight ones. You'll see here everybody having a look for something. So these are the ones that you pick the amount of candy by weight and you weigh it out just here on the scales on the side. So the idea with this section is you don't necessarily need a big bag of candy. you can just get a small handful of a few different choices, and you know, you don't end up with a big bag of the packaged candies that maybe you won't eat as quickly. You just want a few of this one, a few of the next one, and you can have a nice assortment of candy on the table at home. A lot of these also are quite classic, older brands of Russian candy, and a lot of people reminisce by buying these, and something that they grew up eating, and it's just so much of a remembrance of your childhood. The next aisle is all the different box chocolates, and a lot of the ones that you give for presents and gifts to people. And then on this left hand side are all of the normal chocolate bars, and lots to choose from. And if you're a Milka fan, you have a lot of choices of Milka. Please tell me where you live. Are there this many choices in the supermarket? Is there this many amounts of snacks and candies? I find no matter what supermarket you go to, it's just in abundance. We have a friend in Russia who works for Ritter Sport in Moscow, and we've always had these in our house. And then all of the classic candy bars. And I'm gonna have to say it one more time. The one that's missing here is Kit Kat. What happened to Kit Kat in Russia? Someone tell me, or if you can tell me where I can buy one, I'm gonna rush to that store as quickly as possible. Walking on a little bit further, we come across the aisle with tea and coffee, and there is a lot of choices. The one thing that has changed quite a bit is the capsule coffee, and of course a lot of the main brands left Russia, but you can see here Globus has got its own in-house brand of capsules that are for Nespresso or Dolce Gusto machine. There's also Tazimo. So there's definitely still other brands available, but it's just changed slightly. The aisle of tea, and of course you'll always get somebody scanning the shelf looking for something new or something different, and all the different coffee brands here on the right hand side. And then over on this variety side of the hypermarket, I want to call it a supermarket, but it is a hypermarket, and I am always, you know, chopping and changing between the two names. This is the kids section here, and all the choices of children's baby foods, and lots of choices. And then over here, all the different powdered baby foods. I think different age groups, they're broken down by. All the food in jars, and there's a little bit of clothes, and then all of the nappies, as we call them in Australia. I think in America it's diapers. Perhaps you have a different word, let me know in the comments if you do. And all of the things like shampoos and body washes for children. One thing as I'm walking around and getting towards the end of the video here, please let me know where you live in the world. Is the supermarket as full as what I'm showing? Is this many people in the store? Here is some of the variety. They've actually got Lego here, and more on this side. Lots of Lego on special too, which is fun. There's also a section here with stationery and things like books and paper and files and things like that. And then there's a very big section too of kitchen products. So if you need containers or cutlery, there's all of that to choose from. They've got some Christmas themed items out here already. And then if you need a frying pan, there's a good amount of frying pan choices in the store. And then we end up here with all of the Manchester and bedding. And then we're back here to the winter clothes. Perhaps somebody needs a woolly hat with the ears or a nice heavy jacket. They've got a lot here. This 5K group, I think at one point there were stores in Moscow. I wonder if they've done a collaboration and selling it here in the same shop. And then here's all the things for cleaning and washing, and lots of choices of cleaning products. Another area that's my wife's favorite part of the store, and aisle after aisle of different things. As I head on out of Globus, I want to thank everybody for watching the video today. I hope you found it interesting and what a Russian typical supermarket looks like here on Friday afternoon in Moscow, Russia. I hope it portrays the feeling and the mood of the shop and how busy it was and just how much food there was in the shop as well. This really is a question I've asked quite a few times in the video. Are the shops where you live currently like this? Are they stocked how you see it in the video that I've just walked around? Or is it completely different? Let me know where you're from and perhaps what a local shop is like. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That would be always good. Post a comment like I've talked about. If you'd like to follow me on Telegram, there's a link to Telegram right here. You can click that and join me over on Telegram. If you'd like to see another video on the channel, one is coming up right now. Perhaps you want to watch an older video of something that you haven't seen before. You can click that right now. And I'm gonna go grab my jacket and I'm off on another adventure. Bye everybody.